There's a huge lag on my phone right now because I wanted to talk about something. When I was young, when I was like 12-year old or 10 years old, 11 years old, whatever, I used to think, well, why does my dad watch the news? I used to think, why do old people read newspapers? I used to think, what's the point? And I'd ask the question. I'll say, why do you read the newspaper? And they'd say, because I want to know what's happening in the world. And I'd say, yeah, but how does that affect us? I would say, how does it affect me? How does it affect you? Because we don't even know who those people are. And the answer to that would be something like, well, these people are running the country, they're running the world. They're the ones who are in charge. And I think, why? I'd say, well, why? Who said they could be in charge? And grandparents and father and that would say things like, because we voted them in. We gave them the power to regulate our lives and to make decisions on our behalf and all this. I was saying, right, okay. And I say, well, I think it's boring, that's when you're little and that. And I think it's boring, I don't know why you bother. But then as I got older, I started to look at it, myself. And then I would start to get a grasp on what they were doing. and they would talk about these situations, these problems that they were trying to fix. And I'm thinking, what? That's not a problem, that's easy to fix. All you have to do is this or that. Why don't you do that? Why do you do this? And they would come up with all this merry-go-round stuff. The news people, the people in power, governments and all this would go in a merry-go-round. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with you people? This is when I'm watching it. I think, why do you just stop it? If there's a problem and what you're doing, all you're doing is gabbing. Nothing ever gets done. And it really got up my back teeth. It really it irritated the hell out of me because I could see the problem was simple. There was no problem. All they had to do was just do it. And then I found out about red tape. Red tape, when you tie things up in a bow and it's all... I didn't understand what red tape was at first. And it's legal. It's legal stuff. That parents and that. It's when they've got laws. You can't do this. You can't do that. You've got to do it this way. You can't do it that way. And I think, hang on a minute. So you basically blocked all the roads except one road, and you can only go down that one road to solve a problem instead of going down the other roads. So you've cut yourself off. You basically put yourself in a corner. You painted yourself into a corner and you can't get out because the floor's wet. I'm thinking, these freaking laws, they don't make any sense. They're just stupid, they're ridiculous, silly laws. And I ask questions, my dad would tell me, I've got to go and get my insurance and my tax renewed on my car. And I'd say, why? Why do you have to pay tax for tax? Why do you have to get insurance? And all this legislation, all it was doing was tying a bow, red tape, on our lives to basically make it so we only had one real road we can go down. We had no other choices. We were basically being painted into a corner. So in the 70s and the 80s, all I ever found by watching all the news and everything, when I did watch it, I didn't watch it all the time because it was just driving me up the wall, but all it did was get me frustrated, get me angry, make me annoyed, because I could see solutions to things. I mean, all of us can see solutions to things, but they would never take these solutions. They would just make it so that this problem would go on and on and on and on for decades. And then they go to freaking war with countries and start shooting at each other. What's wrong with these people? And then 9/11 happened, and I never did trust these people in the mainstream media. I never trusted them because it was all bullshit to me. It was just a merry-go-round. But then 9/11 happened, and I saw the Twin Towers come down, and I was in complete shock. How could this even happen? For years I've been watching TV shows like Tomorrow's World. They're bragging about these satellites in the sky. They've got all this radar. They're spying on everything. They're tracking every single aircraft that's in the air. How can this happen? How in the world can two planes smash into the World Trade Center and nobody knows about it until it's happened? It's like, there's something wrong here. This doesn't make any sense. These people are supposed to be the smartest people on the planet. They're supposed to be able to send a man to the moon. They're supposed to be able to launch rockets with such precision that they can do a catapult around the sun and do all this stuff. And they can't even stop two freaking planes from smacking into the train centre. I just thought one day, I've had enough of this bullshit. I've had enough of it. I'm sick of it. Because somebody's pulling the wool over our eyes. They're treating us like we're the ones that are stupid. When they're either very smart, very cunning, very good at deceiving, and that's what I came to the conclusion, is that's what they do. They deceive us. They keep us in the dark. We're all mushrooms. We're all frigging mushrooms. We're being kept in the dark about what's really going on. I just want the truth. I just want to know. I want to know the truth. I want to be able to make a decision about my life. I want to be able to make a decision about what my kids are going to have for a future. But with all this crap going on, you can't make any decisions, because whenever you try to go in a certain direction to try to make your life better, they tax the hell out of you. So every time something becomes popular, like vaping came out, right, recently, you know, people were quitting cigarettes and they're going on to vapes, and then somebody said, well, when it gets popular, they'll tax that too. And one day I said, years ago, I said to my dad, oh, they'll be taxing fresh air next. It was a joke. I was joking. They'll be taxing fresh air next. I said, oh yeah, carbon tax, what do you think that is? He said, they're literally taxing our fresh air. Now, something else you want to know. We are all carbon-based life forms. The whole frigging planet is made out of carbon, right? So, this piece of paper it's made out of wood pulp, tree pulp. It's actually mostly carbon. It doesn't make any difference what you burn. It doesn't make any difference if you burn this piece of plastic. It doesn't make any difference if you burn this handkerchief. It doesn't make any difference if you burn, no matter what you burn. You can burn an orange. Once it dries out, you can burn an orange. And guess what's left over? Carbon. Carbon. And they're taxing us on our carbon footprint. Are you kidding me? The whole freaking planet's made out of carbon. Everything's made out of carbon. Look, right? You see this bit of paper? When it goes out, hang on. You see what that is in there? Carbon. The black stuff is carbon, right? Doesn't make any difference what you burn. Everything, the only thing left behind is carbon, right? We are carbon-based life forms. If you take a body to the morgue and you burn it, generally speaking, you end up with calcium, actually, because the bones are calcium, so you end up with more calcium. They actually burn stuff very efficiently at the crematorium these days. They use very hot, very hot blue flame, and most of the carbon goes up in smoke into the atmosphere, and they're taxing us because we're making carbon. The only thing that's usually left is calcium. You have all these bone remnants. It's white, like a white powder, but ultimately that is still carbon. But you can actually burn carbon to such a high temperature that it'll look white, but it's still carbon. There's carbon and calcium. So this is the biggest scam, the biggest snake oil salesman scam ever invented. Now, back in the 18th century, in the 17th century, they used to criticize people that were selling the bottle of snake oil. They used to call it, oh, this will cure everything. Just give me some cents, or give me some dollars, or whatever, and I'll sell you this and it'll cure all your ailments. And a lot of people believed it, and sometimes it actually did cure certain things. If it was, some snake oil salesman did sell some pretty good stuff, but a lot of it was a scam. It was a way to make money. And this is another this carbon footprint bullshit is bullshit, and it is just another way of stealing our money. They'll use any means necessary to impoverish the population to the point where we have nothing left. And the saying is, you'll own nothing and be happy. Because once you have nothing left, you've got nothing left to give. There's nothing left for them to take from you other than your life. And when it gets to that point, they'll have no choice but to keep you alive, because they'll need you for something. They'll need you to be good little slaves. They'll need us to be good little slaves. I'll be dead soon anyway, but if there's reincarnation, I hope to God I don't come back on this God-forsaken planet. Now, I've just been watching a video. I'll put it in the description. The link's in the description. Dan Wootton, Uncensored. Dan Wootton, what's the word? Outspoken, that's it. Dan Wootton, Outspoken. He's just been talking about how the corporate media are trying to force feed us with information which is all biased or one-sided, and whether we like it or not. This is the reason why the BBC has been trying to infiltrate or take or get onto YouTube. They've been trying to basically put their presence on YouTube, and everybody on YouTube said, no, we came here to get away from you, go away. So the corporate media is like a dead horse, and the globalists are still flogging that dead horse. Come on, get up, we need you, keep going, get up, get up. But nobody's buying it. We're all saying the same thing. We left you because you're full of TRAP. We don't need all this crap. We want to choose. We want our free will. We want to choose what we do with our time, and we don't want to spend our lives watching you because you're not giving us the facts. You're not telling us the truth. And we know you're not telling us the truth because the freaking planet's made out of carbon, for God's sake. That's like, I'll use an analogy. That's like you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean and you get fined because you emptied the remains of your drinking bottle overboard. Oh, you've just polluted the ocean. You just emptied your drinking bottle into the ocean. What? It's water. There's actually a load of salt in the ocean. I made it less salty. Yeah, maybe eventually if I keep pouring water in, you can drink the bloody ocean. No, I wouldn't recommend that. So this whole carbon tax thing is just a big scam to rob us of our electric bills, our energy, our gas bills. It's going to strangle us to the point where they want us to die. They want us to say, oh, I've had enough, I'll hang myself. Because they're trying to get rid of us, because they want to reduce the population, because they want to control us. And they can't control, what, 7 billion people? It's going to be hard, unless they get us down to something like 3 billion. And that's what it was on the Georgia Guidestones. It was actually written on the Georgia Guidestones that they wanted to reduce the population right down to just a few billion, probably a couple of billion, something like that. But everybody saw that. They said, what? They're going to kill us. My God, they're going to kill us. How are they going to get it down to 2 billion? There's another 6 billion people on this planet. What, 5 billion people? They're going to kill us all. And then Bill Gates at the TED Talk conference started talking about vaccines and better healthcare and COP22, I forgot what it is now. Anyway, it was at the TED Talk conference, and he was on about how he was going to save the planet. He actually exposed what they were doing. I don't know if I can show you it though. Hang on. Let me try and find it. That was in 2010. I can't find it. COPSEC. He admitted it. He freaking admitted it. And people are starting to wake up now and realise. Now, just a minute, let me try and, there's a delay on my phone, so I don't want to cut myself off too soon, because otherwise yeah, I'll put my hand up. Right, let's look at this clip. Find it.
This equation has four factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
In 2010, and people don't believe it when they hear it. You heard what he said. You can watch that over and over again, and no matter what you think, you'll think, oh, he made a mistake. No, there was no mistake. He's talking about less people. He said it quite clearly. Carbon emissions are as a result of too many people. And he talked about healthcare and vaccines because he's using those things to reduce people, less people. And that was in 2010. It's now 2026. You won't have seen that on the BBC, on Sky, or on any of the mainstream media because they don't want you to know. But that was at TED Talk, and originally I saw the whole interview, the whole thing. I actually saw it when it was the whole show, and that's just the bottom line. You can go and look it up on YouTube. You can watch more of it. I think there's another 30-minute clip of that. But this carbon tax thing, it's been used to reduce human beings on this planet. You see, if you can't breathe, if you can't eat, if you can't cook, if you can't wash, if you can't do anything, what's going to happen? You're going to get sick and you're going to die. So energy prices are going up and up and up and up. Food prices are going up and up and up and up. People are going to eat less. You're basically being slowly squeezed until you disappear. I disappear. We all disappear. Except maybe a handful of global elites. I mean, he was pretty clumsy actually, the way he actually exposed what he's doing. But I'm really sick of all this stuff. I mean, they're destroying Stargate. They destroyed everything that we love. All of the stuff that we love, that gives us hope, that gives us a reason to live, they want to destroy it. This is why there has been a huge backlash of Save Stargate. People love their TV shows. People, that's the only place people can feel like they've got something to hold on to. Something that gives them exhilaration and happiness and makes them feel like life is worth living. Now they want to take that away from you. So they cancelled Stargate, and it was admitted by the chairman or CEO or whatever he is, the guy. It was admitted, we'll cancel it because the fans like it too much. Go and search it. Stargate was cancelled because the fans love it too much or like it too much. That is out there. They admitted it. Why? Why are they cancelling it? Because they want to take away everything that we need, everything that human beings need to give meaning to life. They're going to leave us as empty shells. We're going to be left with nothing. They said it themselves. You will own nothing and be happy. The only way you can own nothing and be happy is if you're freaking dead. If you're dead, you own nothing. Because in the spirit world, you don't own anything. You get it yet? Thank you for watching.